I carried a man around in my chest for the better part of 11 years. He'd done me a wrong, a real one, the kind that costs you money and a friendship in the same afternoon, and I hauled him with me everywhere. To the coffee shop, to bed, to church, God help me. And the whole time I was waiting on one thing, for him to come around and admit it so I could finally set him down. He never did. He died on a Tuesday with the thing still unsaid between us. And here's what nobody warned me about. I kept right on carrying him after the funeral. The man was in the ground, and I was still doing his time. That's the day I finally understood forgiveness. What it actually is, who it's really for, and why it's the heaviest thing a person is ever asked to pick up. Stay with me a few minutes, because most everything you were taught about this one is backwards, and it's costing you more than you know. Let me start with the lie, because it's a gentle one, and it fooled me for years. We're taught that forgiveness is a gift, something you hand to the person who hurt you. You let them off the hook. You wipe their slate. You give them a pass. And once you believe that, you'll never do it. Because why on earth would you hand a gift to the one person who doesn't deserve one? It feels like losing. It feels like saying what they did was all right. So you hold the line, and you call it having standards. And we pile more rules on top of it, every one of them a reason to keep holding on. We tell ourselves forgiving means forgetting, like we'd have to pretend the thing never happened. It means reconciling, like we'd have to open the door and let them walk right back into our lives. It means waiting. They have to come to us first, hat in hand, and say the words. And since they almost never do, we get to stay right where we are, holding the whole weight and feeling righteous about it. But here's the truth of the machinery, and once you see it, you can't stop seeing it. A grudge is not a feeling. A grudge is a debt. Somebody took something from you, your trust, your money, some years, your good name, your peace of mind. And the day they took it, you opened an account in your ledger, and you wrote down what you were owed. And ever since, you've been standing at the counter, waiting to get paid back, waiting for the apology, the reckoning, the moment they finally understand what they did, and it evens out. Now here's the cruelty of it. That debt will almost never be paid. They've moved on, or they don't think they did anything, or they're gone. And the whole time the account sits open, you are the one paying on it, every single day. You pay in the replaying of it at 2 in the morning. You pay in the way it's made you a little harder, a little more guarded, a little quicker to expect the worst of people. You pay in the stories you tell where you're always the one who got wronged. The other fella put it on your books 11 years ago and walked off, and I made every payment since, with interest, and mailed the receipts to a man who never once read them. That's the thing about resentment. It feels like you're doing something to them, like the grudge is a fire aimed their direction. But you're the one standing in it. It's a cup of poison you drink every morning, expecting the other person to be the one who gets sick. So if it's that plain, if the grudge is so clearly costing me and not him, then why in the world couldn't I just put it down? Any sensible man would drop a thing that's only burning his own hands. Here's why, and this is the whole heart of it. This is the part the title's pointing at. To forgive that man, I had to give up being owed. I had to walk to the counter, take the account he'd never pay, and mark it closed, paid in full, by me, with nothing coming back. I had to lay down the one thing I'd been standing on for 11 years, that I was right and he was wrong, and I was owed. And you don't know how heavy that is until you go to lift it. Because somewhere in those years, being the one who got wronged had become part of who I was. That grudge was standing in for a justice I never got. Setting it down felt like letting him win. It felt like handing back the only thing I had left from the whole rotten business, my rightness. That's the burden of forgiveness. It was never the mercy that's heavy. Mercy's easy to feel for a minute. What's heavy is the surrender, giving up the debt, giving up the being owed, giving up the version of the story where you're the one holding the moral high ground. Now let me be careful here, because there's a ditch on both sides of this road, and I don't want you in either one. Forgiving is not the same as reconciling. You can forgive a man completely and still never let him back through your gate. Some people you release and still keep at a distance because they aren't safe, and that's not bitterness, that's wisdom. Forgiving is not saying it was okay. Some things never were and never will be. And it is not forgetting. You can remember exactly what happened, clear as glass, and still lay the debt down. Forgiveness doesn't need him to apologize. It doesn't need him to understand. It doesn't even need him to be alive. It happens entirely on your side of the fence. That's the mercy hidden inside the burden. You never needed him for any of it. So how do you actually do it? How do you close an account you've kept open half your life? Not in one grand noble moment. I've never once managed it that way. You do it plain, and you do it in pieces. 5 things. Not one of them requires the other person to lift a finger. First, name the debt honestly. All of it. You cannot release a thing you won't look straight at. Don't shrink it. Don't tell yourself it wasn't that bad. That's not forgiveness. That's just burying it alive where it'll claw back out. Say the true size of what was taken. Only then do you have something you can actually let go of. You forgive the real debt, not a polite little version of it. Second, quit waiting for the payment. This is the hinge the whole thing swings on. The apology is not coming. The reckoning is not coming. The day he finally gets it is not coming. Write it off. Not because it was fair, it wasn't, but because you are done paying interest while you wait on a debtor who left town. Forgiveness starts the moment you stop demanding he be the one to make it right. Third, separate the ledger from the gate. Closing the account is one decision. Whether you open your door to him again is a completely different one, and you get to make them separately. Forgive him fully, and still keep the gate shut if he's not safe. Mercy is not the same as access. You can wish a man well and still not hand him your keys. Fourth, do it on the calendar, not by feeling. Don't wait to feel forgiving before you forgive. That feeling shows up last, if it shows up at all. Forgiveness is a decision you make, and then make again tomorrow when the old resentment comes crawling back, because it will. It's not one release, it's 100 small ones. Some mornings I set that man down, and by supper I'd picked him back up without noticing. So I set him down again. That's not failing at it. That is it. And fifth, the hardest account of all is often the one you hold against yourself. Most folks carrying a grudge against somebody else are also carrying a worse one against their own selves. For what they allowed, for what they should have seen coming, for the years they can't get back. Same math, same mercy. You close that account on the very same terms. Name it true. Quit waiting to feel you've suffered enough and lay it down. You don't get to be free of everyone but you. So let me leave you with this. Being right and being free are two different things, and I've learned the hard way you cannot carry both at once. One hand has to open to hold the other. Forgiveness was never a gift you give the person who wronged you. It's the burden you finally agree to set down, the debt you stop collecting so you can quit doing the other fellow's time. I forgave that man about a year after they buried him. Sat out one gray morning and just closed the account. Marked it paid by me. He never knew. It changed not one thing for him. He was past all knowing. And it changed near everything for me. That's the secret nobody tells you. The whole transaction happens on your side of the fence. You were never waiting on him. You were only ever waiting on yourself. So down in the comments, you don't have to name a soul, and please don't. Just tell me, is there somebody you're still carrying? Are you ready to set them down? Somebody scrolling by is hauling the same weight you are, and it'll help them to know they're not the only one. I'll leave a few things below. You take care of yourself now, and go easy on that account you've been keeping. I'll see you next time.